Right, 3, 2, 1, and action.
Does this fat make me look fat?
I don't know, but mine does.
Okay. Hey, welcome to another edition of how to build stuff.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna build stuff today. What are we gonna build?
We're building a pergola.
A pergola?
Yes.
All right. What can you use a pergola for?
Well, you can use it to make your fence look a lot better.
The pergola we're gonna make today is for the entranceway. We're gonna build it over a gate. It's gonna be a nice little addition. Probably some of you at home are thinking about building a pergola because your wife said, "I want a pergola."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, usually what happens. So we're going to build the pergola right here in our shop, and it's really simple, simple little pergola. But there are more. There are a lot of different kinds of pergolas. You can build a pergola over your patio to give you a little bit of shade when you're grilling those burgers and having a party. Which when you're done building your pergola, you can sit down under the shade and relax when you're done. But anyway, we're going to build a pergola over the gate. It's a very simple thing to do, and it's not going to cost a lot of money. I think I figured, hold on a second, if you do it yourself, about $400 to build this pergola, and it's going to look great. Alex is going to show you a picture. This is what we're going to build. The pergola we're going to build is for a customer of ours. I went there and I measured the job. He has a 54-inch opening that he wants, 54 inches. So this pergola is going to be for a 54-inch opening, but you can make your pergola for any size you want. You could do a 36-inch opening, a 48-inch opening, a 60-inch opening, whatever opening you want. You just figure it out with the math and everything. The math's not that hard. Actually, you got to be able to measure and count and stuff. But I always said there's three types of people in the world: those who could count and those who can't. So let's get started. All right. To build the pergola, we're going to need obviously some PVC material, and we're going to need some tools. Very simple items. First, let's do the tools. We're going to need a drill with a couple of different bits. We're going to need a 5/8 Forstner bit, we're going to need a Phillips bit, and we're going to need a nut driver to fit the screws that we're going to be using. And these plugs are for that size, 5/8, and we'll show you what those are for later. But the tools are 2 drills, the bits, you're going to need a mallet, you're going to need some safety goggles, a speed square, a pencil, and a tape measure. And as far as equipment, as far as material, you need a 2x6 rails, and we're going to cut them for the pergola. I already pre-cut my rails for my 54-inch opening. We're going to need 2x6s. We're going to need some shorter 2x6s. We're going to need pergola end caps. We're going to need some pergola clips, and we're going to need a couple of posts just to build the pergola with. Those are just garbage. And I made myself a spacer, 54-inch opening. So my spacer is going to be my opening. It makes it real easy to put this thing together. You'll need some screws for the top and some screws to secure to the 5x5s. Everything we use is stainless, so you'll never get that drip when things start to rust out. It's all stainless. That's basically it. All the equipment is here. Let's get started on the pergola. All right. These are going to be, this is just garbage I cut from scrap. Actually, I don't want to steal your thunder. Fred, take a bow. Fred cut these from scrap, and we're just going to use these to put our pergola together. So Fred, let's get started. I already told you we're going to do a 54-inch opening. So to make it easier, so I don't have to keep taking out a tape measure, I cut this piece of scrap wood exactly at 54 inches. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on the table, and I'm going to put my spacer in here. We have a 54-inch opening. We're not going to mess this up. 54-inch opening. Just a reminder, anything that you need for this pergola, we can make it for you. We have everything in stock pretty much all the time. And we could sell you full length, and you can basically design it and cut it yourself, or we can cut all the material and send it to you so that you could just assemble it. We'll mark everything where you need to cut it, how you need to assemble it. It will make it real simple. How's that? And we could ship it to you, or you can have us come to your house, and if you're on Long Island, New York, and we can put it together for you. But you know, I figure everything here you could build within an hour, maybe a week, you know, a month. Definitely within a year you could get this done.
You're making your side hobby, you know?
Yeah, it depends how many times your wife asks you to do it. But anyway, we can get this done pretty quick. The first thing you're gonna need are your two main 2x6s. We cut these out. How big did we make these?
We made these 70 inches.
70 inches, because we know our opening is going to be 54 inches and it's going to be on either side of a 5-inch post. So 54 plus 10 is 64, and I wanted to extend past the post on each side 3 inches. Why only 3 inches? Because your pergola cap is going to extend 10 inches. So it's going to be kind of about 13 inches out on each side. And you could shorten that up or make it longer depending on your preference. My preference was 13 inches. Okay, so I have 2 of these, all right? And I'm going to put them on either side of my 5x5 posts and my spacer. And here we go. Okay. That is the first thing you need to do. And I told you, we're gonna have them extending 3 inches. So I'm taking my tape measure and I'm gonna bring this to 3 inches. 3 inches on this one right there. All right, now we're gonna go check the other side, and it should be 3 inches also, again, because we already pre-measured this. So let's go measure this side, and here we are, 3 inches. Now we have the 2 main beams for the pergola. All right. The way I designed my pergola is I want the first cross piece to be center into the post, like here. So I like it to be center on both sides. And then I figured I'm going to put 4 more in the middle. So you got to figure out what the spacing is going to come out to. And again, that involves a little bit of math. Now we're going to figure out the spacing for the top 2x6s. We have our 2 5x5 posts on either side of the pergola. These are 5 inches. And we have our 2x6s on either side, like this. Okay, now I want to put my 2x6s, the shorter 2x6s, spaced across. I want the 2x6s to be centered in my 5x5 like this. This is 2 inches. The post is 5 inches. I know there's 1.5 inches on each side. My space here is 54 inches between the 2 posts. So my space between the first 2 2x6s is going to be the 54 inches plus the 1.5 inches and the 1.5 inches. So it's 57 inches. And I'm going to put 4 more 2x6s on top. And when I put 4 more 2x6s, it creates 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's do the math. I have 57 inches between my first 2 2x6s, and I'm going to add 4 more. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 inches of rail. So I'm going to minus the 8 inches, and that's going to give me 49 inches. Now I have to figure out the distance between each one. I take my 49 inches and I divide it between 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 49 divided by 5, and that's going to give me 9.8. So I'm going to space each 2x6 9.8 inches from each other. Freddie, let's start. Let's first get the 2 end pieces on. So get the drill and the Phillips and a couple of white screws. All right, people, don't be scared. Don't be scared at home. We're going to get started. This is just a drill. Do not be scared. This is just a drill. Easy way to get started on this is I want to center this rail in this post, okay, like this. I want it to be center, okay? I know this is 3 inches right here. I got 3 inches, and I know this is 2 inches here, all right? So if I take the 5 inches right here and I deduct the 2 inches, that's 3, and that's 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches from the edge of the post is going to be the center. This is going to wind up in the center. So basically it's 3 inches plus the 1.5. So I want to be 4.5 inches in from my rail right here, all right? So I'm going to take my pergola clip and the other one. Where do we got the other pergola clip? All right, so I got my 2 pergola clips, and just to get started on this, we're going to be 4.5 inches in on each side. 4.5 and 4.5. Okay, and I'm going to get that pergola clip kind of in the middle, and again, it's on top, so if it's a little bit off, it really doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see it unless there's a second-story window looking right at the pergola, and that's all you're going to do is look at the top of this pergola. Then you're going to want to get this even. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, good. Cut. No kidding. All right, so let's get these first 2 screws in right here. All right, good. What I want to do now is make sure this is even. We cut this out 15 inches, okay? And this is 9 inches, which is 6 inches. So again, it's going to stick out 3 inches on each side. This, I'm just going to take my tape measure. I'm going to go 3. I'm just going to look at the other side, and it's about 3 also. 3 and 3 again. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we are good here. 3 on each side. Okay, now I'm going to connect this pergola. Fred, do me a favor, just hold that down. All right, we got the first side. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing, Fred. And again, we are going to measure 4.5 inches in on each side. 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Perfect. Okay. Now let's get those pergola clips kind of centered. And we'll get the pergola clips in first. There we go. Now we got our other end pergola clips in. Now we're going to attach this to the pergola. And again, how many inches on each side, Fred?
3.
3 inches. So we're going to measure 3 inches, and we are at 3 inches. So we are going to firmly attach this. All right, now we're going to put 4 more of these in, and we're going to space them 9.8 inches spacing in between each one. I got a tape measure that makes that real easy. Besides your regular tape measure, it has your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one makes it real easy. I don't have to convert that 9.8 into a fraction or anything, and we're going to get this thing going. For the 4 in the middle, we said our spacing is going to be 9.8. So we're going to very simply measure 9.8 to the edge of the pergola clip, 9.8 on each side. Right there, we are done with that. And we're going to screw these down at 9.8. Very simple. And I like to use these self-tapping screws. Again, I said everything is going to be stainless. These are self-tapping. They also happen to be white, so if you're going to look at it from on top, it's still going to look nice. It's not going to be all silvery and, you know, ugly looking. It's going to be white and beautiful. And again, 9.8 from here to the edge. I pre-measured this and put a mark on here. And we're going to put the screw in, 9.8 here, and another screw like here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just keep repeating 9.8 from here to here. And to make this easier, so you don't have to use a tape measure or anything else and keep measuring, you can make a spacer for everything. You can make a spacer for these. After you get the first ones in, you can make yourself a little wood spacer. And it just speeds up the process. You don't have to keep taking out a tape measure and measuring openings or anything. Okay, now I got all my pergola clips in. Now, Fred is going to help me here. He's going to put these on, and he's going to give me, I'll take the screws, and he's going to give me 3 inches from here to here, and then I'm going to get in there and put the screws in. So, tell me when you're ready.
We are 3 inches from the edge.
Okay. And now you know why I don't go tighter than 9 inches, because I won't be able to get my drill in there. So, I put this here. All right. And what we're going to do now is we're going to drill the holes on the rails for attaching it to the post when we get to the job site. We're going to put 2 holes in each one, in each side. That way it's secured to the top of the post really nice. And I want those holes to be kind of centered where the 5x5 is going to be. So I know this was 3 inches to the 5x5, and the center of a 5x5 is 2.5 inches. So we're going to just measure 5.5 inches in on each side and put a mark. So we're going to do 5.5 inches on this side. Freddie, help me out here. We're going to do 5.5 inches on this side, and we're going to do the same on the back side. 5.5, like right here. And then we're going to want those to look nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over like this. I'm going to use my speed square and kind of just put a quick line down here, like here. And Freddie's going to do the same on that side. Okay. And then I'm going to take this, and this is 6 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 2 inches from the top and 2 inches from the bottom, and I'm going to put a hole, kind of just eyeball that center like here. Got my hole right there. 2 inches. Clean those holes out, Fred. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going to measure in 5.5 inches. We got that marker ready. Fred's going to give me a line. The day of the job, all the guy's going to have to do is lift this up into place and screw it in. It'll be real simple for them, and that's what we want when we're installing it. We want simple. And if you're wondering how we're going to connect this to the post, the guys are going to use a screw into that hole, right into the post, and then we're going to cover it with a cap plug like this, and we're going to cover the hole, and Alex will show you how that's done on the job site. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the caps on just to show you what it looks like in the shops, and we're just going to put our caps on. I'm going to show you what this looks like finished here in the shop. And these will get glued on. I just don't want to transport it with all these caps on it, because if anything breaks, then we got to replace the cap. And they're not cheap, but they're not too expensive. Again, you can get them here at Natural Beauty Fence. We can ship them anywhere you are, and they will look fantastic. Again, all of this for well under $400 material. You can buy everything you see here, and if you want, a lot of people add another layer onto the pergola. This customer did not want it, but you could put smaller PVC strips going this way. Alex is going to show you some pictures of what that would look like. But this right here, entranceway to a gate, is going to make it look phenomenal. It's just going to, boom, it's going to explode. It's going to look great.
All right, everyone, Alex here. Welcome to the job site. I'm joined by Juanito, he's in the back. We have Jose, Herson, and Luis. Our first step in actually installing this pergola is to set the 2 posts for it. For this specific job, we're gonna have a section of fence on the side here. Then you're gonna have your gate with the pergola on top. And then you're gonna have another section of fence over here on my other side. So right now, we are digging the 2 holes for the posts. And then we're going to cement them in just as normal, as we always do in these tutorials. So now Luis is gonna put cement in the hole, cement that post in nice and good. Luis,
What's happening?
¿cuántos años has trabajado en Natural Beauty Fence?
He trabajado 23 años y bien trabajado. I'm working very hard.
23 años.
23 años.
Hey Herson, ¿cuántos años has trabajado aquí?
1.
Hey, ¿qué pasó?
Espérame, voy a contar. 20
años.
Sí. 20 años.
See, ladies and gentlemen, our top tier installers have been with us almost my entire life. They know what they're doing. We never use subcontractors. We keep these guys employed all year. They are the real deal. So you'll see Jose is using the wood spacer that Dennis cut. So that way the opening is exactly the way it needs to be for the pergola to fit. Now because these are gate posts, Luis is going to put cement inside the post as well. Whenever there's a gate, we put cement inside and outside the post. Now we have our 2 sections of fence and our 2 pergola posts set. We're going to start by putting flat caps on the 2 posts here. Herson just places the cap over the post as such. I'm going to do the same. Now, the moment you guys have all been waiting for, the installation of the pergola. Okay, Luis is going to use his big muscles to lift the pergola over the post. And we are just going to center it there. We simply place the pergola over the post like this, and Dennis and Junior already drilled holes in the rail here that we're going to use to screw into the post there. So Dennis made this installation as simple as he possibly could. So Herson and Luis just verified that the distance hanging off the posts on each side of the pergola are equal. That way the pergola is symmetrical. So now Herson is going to use a self-tapping screw to screw the pergola into the post. So now before Herson screws the other side, he's just gonna make sure it's level. So now Jose is covering up the holes with white cap plugs. Jose, show the viewers the cap plug. Wait. Next step is to put on the pergola caps. Luis is going to apply glue to the inside of the cap and then put them on. Decorative side facing down, flat side facing up. Right, Luis?
Yes.
Now just to secure the tops, Jose is adding a white screw to the top of each pergola cap. Another thing to keep in mind when you have a pergola above a gate entrance is that while also adding beauty to the entrance of your yard, it also serves to strengthen the gate posts by preventing them from shifting side to side. That pergola will hold those gate posts stationary for the duration of this gate's existence.
Check over there. Check that style on top. The level, nice and neat, clean, very nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this video on how to build a PVC pergola. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel so you can see more content just like this. If you are interested in purchasing any of the materials shown in this video, we sell and deliver material nationwide. Simply call or text the number below to reach me directly. If, however, you would prefer to have us do the job for you, simply text or call the number below to schedule an estimate with me where I'll come to your house, measure the property, and then work with you to figure out which styles of gates, pergolas, arbors, or fence best suit your taste and your budget. Thank you all for watching.